Data engineers build incredibly powerful automation logic on the back end, but business users often lack the technical fluency to trigger those workflows. This creates severe operational silos. Advanced AI integrations remain trapped behind complex interfaces, completely inaccessible to the non-technical staff who actually need them for daily tasks. Organizations typically try to solve this by building custom front-end wrappers for every single AI tool. That process is slow, expensive, and nearly impossible to maintain at scale. The required architectural fix is a centralized deployment layer, a single environment that bridges complex backend logic with a standard intuitive chat interface. n8n Chat Hub operates as exactly that bridge. It acts as a unified routing interface, funneling all organizational AI through one centralized hub. Instead of fragmented applications, it consolidates 3 entirely distinct operational layers into a single execution environment. This dashboard reveals those 3 layers directly. Users can access raw base models on the right, configured personal agents in the center, and complex workflow agents on the left. Scaling AI adoption across an enterprise is rarely about integrating more models. It requires standardizing how employees actually execute them. The foundation of this ecosystem starts with direct base model access. This tier allows users to ping raw, unfiltered large language models directly without ever leaving the n8n workspace. A user simply navigates to the model selector, chooses a provider, and begins a standard conversation. While highly flexible, raw models operate in a vacuum. They lack organizational context, they operate without specific system prompts, and they cannot execute repeatable instructions on their own. Direct LLM access is an essential starting point, but guaranteeing reliable outputs across a team requires a structured layer above it. Focusing on the middle card of this interface, we step up to personal agents. These are engineered to make AI reliable for simple, repetitive tasks. To deploy one, an administrator clicks New Agent and assigns a distinct name and description to outline its specific purpose. The configuration is straightforward. Lock in a custom system prompt, assign a preferred model, and save the profile. This binds organizational logic into a repeatable chat persona, allowing any authorized user to select that exact configuration from a drop-down menu. However, this consistency is achieved through strict architectural constraints. First, simple personal agents do not support the injection of custom file knowledge. Second, their ability to call external tools is highly restricted to a specific subset of options. Personal agents intentionally trade complex data integration for extreme consistency in routine text-based operations. To bypass those limitations, we move to the final tier shown on the left, workflow agents. This layer takes complex, multi-step n8n automation sequences running on the backend and exposes them as interactive endpoints in the chat interface. Routing that data correctly requires precise node architecture. First, the workflow must be initiated by the newest version of the chat trigger node. Legacy versions will fail and must be replaced. Inside that trigger, the Make Available in n8n chat parameter must be toggled on. The trigger then passes data to the downstream AI agent node, which has its own strict requirement. The AI agent node must have the Enable Streaming option activated. Securing these specific node configurations is the exact mechanism that converts an invisible backend process into a responsive front-end agent. Let's trace how this architecture behaves in a live production environment. Looking at this chat input, a user simply types a competitor's company name to trigger a research sprint. Behind the scenes, the chat trigger receives the text and initiates a workflow that queries external financial APIs, gathering raw data. The LLM node processes that raw JSON payload and synthesizes it into a formatted executive summary. Because the streaming architecture is enabled, the AI agent node feeds that summary back into this interface character by character in real time. The only prerequisite is that the user requesting the data has been granted at least viewer access to the underlying workflow project. The end user experiences a seamless conversation, entirely insulated from the API orchestration happening in the background. Giving an entire organization unrestrained, unrestricted access to these incredibly powerful automation tools across the board introduces immediate, critical IT vulnerabilities. Exposing global credentials or raw workflow builders to non-technical staff guarantees eventual data mishandling or system breaks. N8n manages this risk through strict role-based access control, anchored by the specific chat user role. A chat user is granted highly restricted privileges. They only see and interact with the clean chat interface. By default, they are completely locked out of the n8n canvas. They cannot add workflows, and they cannot view or configure system credentials. This specific level of administrative governance is deployed exclusively across n8n's Starter, Pro, Business, and Enterprise plans. The chat user role physically decouples the engineering of automation from the execution of automation, neutralizing the security threat. For the IT administrators managing the system, governance extends well beyond user roles. The provider settings panel acts as the absolute control layer for organizational AI access. From here, admins can globally enable or disable specific language models and AI providers. It prevents shadow IT by physically blocking users from adding unauthorized models or pasting in their own personal API keys. Administrators can force default credentials for every provider, ensuring all AI usage is strictly routed and billed through corporate accounts. The Chat Hub functions as a centralized compliance checkpoint for all corporate AI interactions. Building secure, scalable AI infrastructure requires exact architectural planning. To deploy a secure n8n Chat Hub solution, partner with AMDR Automate. Visit amdrautomate.ai to schedule a consultation, or connect on social media at @AMDR Automate. If this technical breakdown helped clarify your deployment strategy, please like the video, share it with your IT team, and subscribe for more deep dive architectural reviews.